Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about something interesting and something really important topic in the AI world, that is AI guardrails. So basically whatever AI development we have been doing, the LLM or the required system is going to give us the output, and we need to have a guard so that whatever goes inside the LLM or whatever comes outside the LLM or your AI system is protected. There are It is risk free, and it ensures core integrity and many other factors. So we'll deep dive into one of the popular modules called as AI Guardrail or Guardrail AI, and we will see each couple of sub modules, nine powerful sub modules, which we will see a demo also uh, for our day-to-day LLM evaluation and LLM testing purpose. Okay, so let's get started. Right. So Guardrails AI, this is the GitHub link for this, and Guardrails AI is a package which it is basically a system or a package, whatever you want to say, which will provide different modules, which will help us protect our LLM input and output. Okay. So what is Guardrails? Guardrails is a Python framework that helps build reliable AI application by performing two key functions. So guardrails runs in input output guards in your application that detect quality, that detect, quantify, and mitigate the presence of specific type of risk. Okay, and there's a link also, this GitHub guardrails hub, so you will see that also. And guardrails help you generate structured data for LLMs. So as I said, many AI systems, they'll be using day in day out different type of LLMs, and we need to protect what goes inside the LLM and what, the output of LLM has to be in proper manner, or the thing what we want out of it. Okay, right. So I just expand this image. So without guardrail, this is your straightforward LLM application. So you have a prompt, you give it to LLM, and you get the output. Okay, so now whatever goes inside LLM, that we have to protect or govern, and whatever comes outside the output is output of LLM, that we have to govern and protect. So that is where this guardrails coming to picture, right? So just before what is going inside the LLM, after the prompt, we have this step which is guarding the prompt. Basically there are different types of guards. So contains PII, personally identifiable information, off topic, jailbreaking, many things are there. So that's why we will cover out of many things. Nine things we will cover in our discussion, in our session. Okay, and it is given to LLM, and LLM gives the output. And before giving this output to the end user, before actually giving it to end user, we will again have similar guards, like for example hallucination guard, profanity, competitor mention, and many other things. Okay, so we'll see couple of guards in our this session. Okay, now, yeah, installation will come to installation in a bit. Let's see this wonderful guardrails AI hub. So here there are 70 guardrails as of now present and available for everybody for their day-to-day use. Okay, out of this I have chosen nine. Okay, I've chosen this nine models. uh, there are other models also which needs either uh, external open AI token, or they are not free basically, so we have to have additional paid subscription or something. And some of them were not able to install locally for whatever reason, so I came up with the list of nine. So here you can sort it, for example, based on summarization, code generation. Okay, text to SQL. So many sorting types are available. So I've chosen nine out of this 70 for our demo. Okay, right. So let's get started. So yeah, pip install guardrails AI. Simple, we have to install this package, and then once we install, then we have to do guardrails configure. So we will have to enter one token, which you can simply generate from this guardrails app. Just log in, and you can generate a token. These are simple steps. And once we are done, then we have to install different guardrails. Okay, so this is the base package of all the sub packages, all the guardrails, individual guardrails. So once you are done with installation of this base package and then configure, enter the token and those things, then we'll install the individual guardrail. Okay, right. So different guardrails. So we'll start with one by one. Okay. So I have, yeah, 10 guardrails I have, right? So profanity guardrail. Okay. So profanity is basically something which where I don't want unwanted um strings or words to be given to LLM, and if at all LLM gives the same output, then I want to suppress it. I want to take it out. Okay. So for example, I have a class called as movie review, and this movie review example is also there in their website. Okay. For profanity. So what is going to happen? So I have a class which is movie review. There are a couple of variables: title, sentiment, possible, and key points. So what I'll do, I will initiate a guard. Okay, guardrails import guard for Pydantic, and I will say that whatever uh, input or output data or strings are being processed, those has to be in this particular format. So it should have a title, sentiment, and key points. Okay, so let's say this is the LLM response for whatever prompt we have given to LLM. LLM has given this output. Let's say title, sentiment, and key points. And I'm just going to do guard.parse. So here, automatically, you have to configure a guard. Okay. And we have to say that I want out to be in this particular format. This is the format. And just guard dot parse and this text. Okay, so what will happen, either the validation will pass or fail, or it might throw an exception. Okay, so for now, this is a very straightforward simple example, and let's run it and see what happens. Okay, validation passed and the data format seems to be correct. Okay, now for the sake, what I'll do, I will just remove this sentiment part. So I'm expecting title, sentiment, and key points, but there's no sentiment part here. So let's run it again, and this time it should fail. Okay, validation failed. Okay, validation failed. So let's move ahead with little complex examples. So profanity. Okay, so the other part is same, like guard dot use profanity free. This is the class I have to use. Okay, so this was a very simple example, the first one. Now let's see the actual guards. So this is the guard I'm using, profanity free class. Okay, and to this profanity free class, again, coding point of view, this is the simple guard dot use and the class, and we have to pass. I'm passing, let's say, some 10 to 12 statements, or uh, simulated LLM outputs, or even simulated LLM input, and let's see how this guard is guarding the input. Okay, or basically the data being processed either inside going in the LLM or out of the LLM, right? Okay, so let's take an example. So if you see this statement, right, so this statement doesn't look a very good statement whenever we are communicating, even professionally or even to LLM, because if we are giving junk input to LLM, we should not expect a good output. We should expect junk output, and that is what we don't want. So there are some statements which are good. There are some statements which are having some profanity words. We need to see that what which of these are getting uh, passed by the guard. So if the validation is passed, fine. If the validation is failed, then it will generate an exception, and I will say violation. Okay, so basically, if there is some violation found, then this particular string or whichever particular data I will not process, or I will do some action. So I want to know which of this is basically having profanity violation. Okay, so let's run this. Right. Okay, let's see one by one. So what is the current interest rate for a high yield saving account? Now, this seems to be a very normal statement, so there's no profanity related thing. So this is passed. Okay, this is also passed. Let's see, this is also passed. These warnings you can ignore for now. This is a library issue. So pass. Okay, this one. Get your this files off my desk before I lose my mind. So this is not a good statement. This is having profanity violation. Okay, and that's why the violation profanity violation found, and I am printing the statement which is causing this particular violation. Okay, and so on. Now if you see this one, I am not working this weekend, so you can go dash dash yourself, right? So though uh, this is not the exact word. Okay, this is must, so it is not exact word, so that is a there is no violation, and that is a violation passed. Okay, so violation, uh, profanity violation found, and so on, right? So there are some statements which are violating, and that is what we are guarding with this guard, profanity free guard. Okay, now let's proceed to next guard. So I have a regular expression. So regular expression guard, so it is most powerful tool for enforcing strict formatting rules, business logic, and security constraints. Okay, for example, I want to have standardized currency format. Let's say, uh, there is some financial institute, let's say it's a bank or whatever institute, and I want to deal with it with some amount. uh, let's say I want to pay some premium, or I want to take out some money from bank and some financial transaction. Now this kind of things, whenever I'm giving it to llm, we can guard the data, or the data being processed in either input to llm or output from llm. Just an example, let's say for us we have a different pattern. Okay, so it should start with dollar, and for eu we should, it should have decimal, comma. So if you see the us and uk, number or the currency representation format is different. So we want to avoid it. Let's say a european person goes to us, and they make some mistakes in writing comma and dot, or vice versa, us person goes to eu and does some mistakes. So if that is processed through llm, let's say just an example, I want to take out some, $20 point 30 cent. Now in EU it might be, just an example, it might be something like 2000 euros. So definitely I don't want that. So how to protect it is basically using this regular expression. So whatever input we are giving into llm, that should be with this regular expression. If yes, okay. If not, it will be rejected. Okay, so apart from this programming stuff, okay, let's see. So guard, this is the initialization. I want to have this class guard dot pydantic, for pydantic, and I want to have strictly either this class. So if it is us or eu, then the same format, the exact format. Okay, and some code is here for implementation perspective, raw json on input output. Okay, this is not a big deal. The main thing is we have to see the how test samples are being handled. Okay, right. So this is the perfectly formatted input. So euro, eur, euro symbol or eur, and then there's a comma. So basically 500 euros. So instead of a dot, it's a comma. Okay, um, right. Okay, this is a dollar, and so on. So what is happening is, if you are giving this kind of input to llm, or if your llm is generating this kind of input, how can we guard it? Okay, so let's see. So this is correct or perfect. This is failing case sensitive. Okay, failing cases, so these three are failing cases. So let's run this, and we will see the violation, if there is a regular expression violation. Okay, all right. Yes, so one by one, let's take some random. Okay, USD, this thing. So in USD, if you see there is no comma, so general execution error passing financial object. Okay, yeah, there is no comma, right, and so on. Right. If you see this success, this one, so there is a success because these things are in correct format. Okay, in EU, if you see there is a comma, that means it is uh, 1250.50 euros. Okay, and in US it is comma here. Okay, and so on. So this is way one we can do the regular expression guardrails. Okay, now let's see some interesting competition chain. Okay, now this is little theoretical level and also bit of a business perspective. So let's say I have an LLM based some chatbot, and I'm communicating with, as a LLM I want to communicate chat with the customer, and I want to avoid anything about my customer, anything about my competitor. Okay, so I have some product, XYZ product, and I want to have something which is not good for me to talk about other competitors. Okay, so what I'll do, I will have a guard which will do a competitor check, and if if the user is giving some input LLM mentioning the competitors, okay, then I want to filter it basically. Or if the user is doing some action and the LLM is generating some output which is going in favor of my competitor, these competitors, then I want to filter that. Okay, so that is why how can I use it? Okay, how can I guard it? So let's take some examples. I'm using this guard competitor check. Okay, um, this seems to be clean text. This seems to be uh, some competition with the brands, the competitor brands or rival brands, and some mixed instances and dense variation, multiple violations. Okay, so for example, we are a great alternative. This competitor 1 and competitor 2 cannot compete with our new pricing metrics. Okay, and so on. So there are multiple types of um, uh, samples we have, and we will test these samples for our guard called as competitor check. Okay, let's run it. Warnings we can ignore. Okay, so couple of violation found, which is good. Let's take some random. Okay, so manage complex sales structures easily. Our competitors like dash dash require expensive certification, right? So the moment you see the name of the competitor or some mention about the competitor and so on, there will be violation. Okay, and then we can correct this. We can mask it, or we can remove that particular string from the data processing pipeline, or whatever way. So that is where we find the violation. Okay, so that is about the competitor check. So next we have toxic language. So right, so we want to avoid any kind of a toxic language being processed either in giving it to LLM or LLM output. Okay, multiple things, right? We want to do fine tuning some sensitive thresholds, safeguard internal workplace, and so on. So if there is a internal chat in a company, and if there are some toxic languages being used, some word is being used, then we want to filter it, or we don't want to entertain those kind of thing, and so on. So that is why we have a toxic language guard. Okay, right. So there are multiple examples where we can use it. So again, this code almost remains the same. Okay, it's just that the test samples vary. Okay, so this is a safe message, sentence with hidden toxicity, insults mixed. Okay, aggressive and multi-sentence complex combination. Okay, so for example, click the link below, don't be a dash 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 dash, follow the on-screen registration prompts. Okay, so these words, if you see this word, are to be filtered. This is very toxic, so we will see what whether our guardrail detects it and throws an exception. Warnings we can ignore. Okay, let's see some random. So get out of here and never talk to me again. You are a dash dash human being. Okay, so this is a toxic language. So this has to be filtered. So that is why, well, the moment this kind of things are going inside the LLM, we will our toxic language guard will guard it. Will not allow it to pass to LLM. Basically, it will generate an exception, and we have to handle it. Okay, right. So like this, we have some samples. Right. So valid URL. Okay, so again, if there is some chat going on, or if there is some discussion going on, and in which there are some URLs being passed, and if that is not the proper formatted URL, or incorrect URL, or invalid URL, for example, let's say uh, not a valid URL string. So http colon colon dash dash dash, that's it. No dot com, no dot in, no dot io something. So these are all uh, invalid thing, right? So that we have to again guard it. So our LLM should not be able to process. So that is why this valid URL guard. Okay, yeah. So if you see this is not a URL, so that's why we generated an exception, right? Other URL seems to be correct, so there is no exception. Okay, right. Ban list. So yeah, almost like this toxic language, just that almost like the competitor check, just that we have to exclusively use words. Okay, so these are the words which are totally banned from any discussion or any data processing for my AI system, for my LLM, then I will ban it. Okay, so if similar word is found, okay, so simply let's say Athena, so instead of this, if it is like this, okay, then also it will catch it, the guard will catch it and will throw an exception. Okay, so basically our LLM will be protected, right? Let's see, for these three words, if something comes up, it will straight away say it is exception and violation. Okay, right. If you see Falcon hyphen 9 propulsion tests are looking good, so violation found. Okay, exact thing it will say. We need to discuss the budget for Athena immediately. So though this is not ATHENA directly, but there is some similarities, it will simply guard it or it will throw an exception. Okay, right. So valid SQL. Okay, again, if there is some SQL being passed as a input to LLM or output from LLM, we need to see if they are correct and as per standards, and probably um, we have to see if there are any violations. Okay, so just an example, copy select to program and rm minus rf. So this is going to be a very dangerous command. If you simply see, it will just delete your website from the server itself and so on. Okay, so like this there are a lot of corner cases for SQL. So that is what this valid SQL guard will protect. Okay, protect means it will throw an exception. Okay, delete from transactions. So if you see, this is, it's a simple SQL command, right? But if you see the repercussion of using this command is basically deleting the entire table content, right? So we don't want that. That's why violation found. Okay, the yeah, grant all privileges on databases. Okay, again we don't want to have all privileges to all the users. Okay, um, oh, you see where table schema is public. So this definitely we don't want this. We want to avoid it. That's why it's a guard violation. Okay, and so on. Right. Then next we have detect PII, personally identifiable information. Uh, so this is typically useful in terms of finance, healthcare, and many other places. So where we want to do masking of the PII info, we want to make it anonymized. Then if you want to filter some entities, okay, if there is some compliance something, then if we have some system where we want to strictly avoid or throw some exceptions very strictly, so that is where we will use this detect PII. Okay, so the code remains the same, just that the test samples. Okay, so let's take simple examples. So the patient's medical record shows the diagnostic of asthma with date of birth. Okay, so again here you are revealing the date of birth and the name of the disease. Okay, user admin logged in from IP address. Again we are revealing some PII and so on. Okay, we are revealing the email ID, so we are revealing a lot of things. So it's a PII which should be protected. So that is where this retake PII will come into picture, and it should block or it should throw an exception if some PII related violations are found. Okay, you see, hi, my name is John and this is my email ID. So again it will simply say violation, and because you are exposing the email. Okay, uh, yeah, can you verify if SSN is this? Okay, this again to me it looks like again giving the revealing the SSN number or some PII related info, so this should be failed, but for some reason this didn't consider it. Okay, anyways, yeah, patient Jane Smith ID. This requires a prescription renewal for amoxicillin, right? So again, a lot of things are being revealed here. Patient name, ID, and the medicine. Okay, so it's a violation, right? NSFW. Okay, so yeah, many places NSFW text is not good. Okay, sentence level context scrubbing, full text block routing, custom confidence threshold calibration. So many places, basically NSFW is very popular, and it should be guarded at many places, official places, and even in personal space also. So that is why we have a guard called as NSFW text. Okay, right. So let's see the sentences. These are the sentences. So here what we are doing is we are going to do scrubbing. So basically scrubbing is basically, again, we want to avoid the NSFW words in any text communication and so on. Okay. Schedule a call for Tuesday. I am so tired of this. You see this NSFW word. Let's aim for morning slot. Okay. The financial transaction record shows an unauthorized transfer of large sums to offshore account. So this is again, I would not say this is NSFW. This is a fully valid thing. There's no, unwanted words being exposed here. Let's see, this team is being a bit difficult today, making it hard to finalize the engineering specs. Okay, this again seems okay to me, right? So like this, there are different type of test samples which are being fed to NSFW, and it should be guarded. Okay, so line by line in the list, I will just throw one by one sentence to this guard, and it will validate. Okay, let's see. Warnings you can ignore. Okay, see, simple. You are doing a dash dash job. Okay, so this is NSFW in, at least in the official or office workspace, so that should be guarded. Then uh, the team lead is being a bit difficult today, making it hard to finalize the engineering specs. This is perfectly valid NSFW, so no issues and so on. Yeah, so if you see this one, uh, prematurely. So again, uh, this is not a good for official workspace, so this should be guarded. Okay, fine. So like this, there are different guards we have seen, and there are other guards also. Out of 70, we just took 10, 9 to 10 other guards you can simply explore. So just an example, let's say, uh, okay, secrets present. So I'll just right click, go here, right? So this is some good text about the card. So just copy this and install it in your PyCharm. Okay, whichever guardrail you have to install locally using this command line, and then you can start using it. Okay, and there's an example also, the same I've used in my coding also. You can use this one, or you can, so you can understand the structure of the code and you can reuse it as per your requirement. Okay, right. So right. So I've given the example of 9 to 10 modules. You can go and explore for other modules also. And all the source code is available in the GitHub. I will give a link in the description for all the different guards in the description section of this video. Okay. So if you like this video and the content of this channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you.